The US national team failed to get the job done against Trinidad and Tobago and qualify for the next year's World Cup, so all eyes are back on the Timbers to see if they can get the business done against DC. Welcome back, new and returning viewers, to the first video that I filmed in quite a few weeks. It feels pretty weird sitting back here and talking into the camera, but it's good to be back. I've explained on my Twitter why I haven't been uploading recently. I'll link it in below, but basically explaining that in a nutshell, I've been pretty busy recently with trying to find a new job or getting my evening job sorted so I have more time in the morning to make videos. I've been changing things around my room, rehabilitation for my injury, so I've spent quite a bit of time in the gym recently. So yeah, it's been pretty difficult to find time to make these videos, as depending on how long they are, they can take up to 3, 4, 5 hours to film and edit and get out to you guys. So apologies for the lack of uploads, but better things to come in the future, and I'm hoping to improve my setup as well by getting a new camera. Although this is quite good, it is only my iPhone, but it's quite a pain in the ass to I don't know, hook up for a filming session and then to convert it onto my laptop and things like that. It would just be easier if I got a camera, hopefully a better microphone as well. So yeah, big things to come as we go into the playoffs and into the off season. So yes, Sunday night, the Timbers welcome the bottom side of the Eastern Conference, DC United, to Providence Park in a game that's going to be difficult for the Timbers. You're going to have DC United players playing for their positions next year. The manager, I'm sure, won't go easy on this from DC's point of view. He might want to blood some young players to see what they've got to offer, especially going into next season. I think on their Twitter they were already counting down the days until the season is over. So, you know, there are going to be players that are going to want to prove their worth and going to want to get contracts for next season. So I'm not saying there's going to be a pushover. It's going to be a very difficult game for the Timbers, although DC are sitting bottom of the table. This could actually be the game in which the Timbers get into the MLS playoffs. If you take a look at the Western Conference, it is extremely tight. San Jose in 8th position have 42 points and still have a chance of getting into the playoffs. They're only 1 point behind 6th place FC Dallas, and only, 5 points behind us in 3rd position. We're on 47 points, and Vancouver at the top, who have already qualified for the playoffs, are on 51 points. So we could actually still become top of the Western Conference and end there, or drastically we could end out of the playoffs. You know, it could either go two ways depending on how the team turns up in these last 2 games, and we could also win Cascadia Cup. It could be an insane last 2 weeks, or it could be a tragic last 2 weeks. Kindly on Reddit, Matthew Mazes posted a bit of a forum called Best Outcomes and Playoff Picture. So you can go check it out, I'll link it in the description, but it basically says what we need to do in order to make the playoffs, and I'll read them out to you now. 2 or more points, 2 draws or 1 win from the remaining 2 games will clinch the Timbers a playoff spot. Just a playoff spot. That could be the top 6, no mind, at the top or at the bottom. Winning out both remaining matches against DC and against Vancouver only guarantees us 3rd place behind Vancouver and SKC if they win their remaining games. Portland must beat Vancouver to win the Cascadia Cup. There is a potential for greatness or a disaster in the last 2 weeks of this season. For example, Portland could make the playoffs, win the Cascadia, get 1st place, and Seattle could miss the playoffs. However, it's still possible for Portland to miss the playoffs completely. There is a lot on the line. As he said, you know, it can really go either way. As you can see in the table, we are very close at the minute. And in the Cascadia Cup table, we're currently 1 point behind the Seattle Sounders, who aren't going to play another Cascadia game. It's just left for us and Vancouver to battle it out to see if we can get on top of the Cascadia Cup, which would be unbelievable as well. No matter where we finish in the table, it would be awesome to win the Cascadia Cup anyway and beat our biggest rivals. But yeah, it's very interesting to see how we can get into the playoffs. I do recommend you go and check out the Reddit forum. I'm not going to talk about all of it, but yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff to read through. And yeah, we'll actually also take a look at the percentage chances for us to actually get through. Where is it? I cannot remember. Standings, here we go. So there is this website called 538. Someone also linked that in the Reddit. I'll also link it in the description below, but it basically talks about the percentages and the statistics going into the playoffs. For example, you can see here we are 99% certain of making the playoffs, with 43% certain of getting a first round bye, and we're 7% of winning the MLS Cup. On top of that, of the percentage of winning the MLS Cup is Toronto FC, followed by New York and Atlanta. So it's very interesting to look at statistic-wise, but it actually says that Seattle have a 1% more chance of them beating us to the MLS Cup. I don't know, it's very interesting to see. It's all statistics. Anything can happen in football. Like, I think it was the Atlanta... Atlanta-Minnesota game. It was something like 70% for Atlanta to win and Minnesota come and beat them. So, you know, statistics don't mean anything in the game of football. Anything can happen. Look at the United States. They lost to Trinidad and Tobago, who were bottom of the group, on 1 win before they played them. So, yeah, anything can happen in football. Super excited going into the last weekend, or the last 2 weekends, sorry, of the season. It's either destined to be great or destined to be a misery. So changing the focus back to the game on Sunday, the Timbers are going to be without the big man up top, Fernando Adi, for another game. Caleb Porter in the most recent press conference said that he's, making slow progress, but he wasn't giving too much away, but he's not going to be fit for this game. Maybe going to be fit for the Vancouver game, which I would love to see him back, giving it all the elbows, giving it the big aggression that he does in the Cascadia games. I'd love to see him back, but if not, hopefully when we make it into the playoffs, or if we make it into the playoffs, he will be then featuring through then, because Caleb Porter said if we do make it there, hopefully he's going to be featuring, or they'd like to see him feature in the rest of the 2017 season. As for DC United, they currently sit in 11th position, bottom of the Eastern Conference, with a pretty poor away record, 3 wins, 11 losses and 2 draws. And their biggest downfall seems to be goals. They've scored the lowest amount of goals, or the joint lowest amount of goals this season, with having only scored 30 and conceded 54, so making it minus 24 goal difference. That's really a bad form of scoring. And if you look at the goal scorers in their team, they've only got 2 players on 5 goals, and the rest of them are on 2, 2, 2 or 1, and things like that, where we've got, Diego Valero banging in 20 goals this season, Adi on 10, Blanco on 6. We've got a lot of goals coming from all angles on the pitch, whereas they really haven't got that at the minute. And their recent form hasn't been too awful. In their last 6 games, they picked up 2 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw. The last game being a loss to, I can't remember who it was, but yeah, they ended up losing their last game, but so did we against San Jose, 2-1. So both teams, kind of had a break, or the international break, at quite a good time, because we come off the back of a loss against San Jose, and that was the best time for a break to happen, not when you're, on a very good streak, winning streak as well. So both teams looking to kind of shake off the cobwebs and get back into MLS play, and get back to winning ways. Hopefully for us, we can get back to winning ways. Before that, our form was pretty good. We had a draw, win, draw, win, loss. So slightly inconsistent, but hopefully in these last 2 games, the boys can really pull out a clutch performance in both games and get the results that we need. So moving on to the Timbers team that I would like to see face DC United on Sunday. In the defence, I've gone for Atanella in goal. Right back, Alves Powell, centre backs Ridgewell and Mabiala, and left back Vitas. Now, comparing this to the team that started against San Jose 2 weeks ago, I've changed Valentin and Miller left and right back. I've gone for Powell right back, as I think that he compensates well for the lack of speed in Ridgewell and Mabiala, as a covering defender that has got unbelievable pace and going forward as well. Valentin is a solid defender, but I think he got a little bit caught at times in the San Jose game. He didn't play awful, I'm not saying that, but I think Powell has maybe, he's been on the bench for quite a few weeks now, and I think now's the time after the break to possibly start bringing him back into the team. As I remember a few weeks ago, or months ago now, when he was playing in the tournament, or the Gold Cup he was playing well for Jamaica, but he didn't really get back into the team. So I'd like to see him now try and slowly make his way back into the team, as I've come to realise that the defence is pretty slow without him. When you've only got Mabiala and Ridgewell as centre-backs, they are very slow players. Now, moving on to Ridgewell at centre-back, I think Mabiala's done well since he's come in. I think Ridgewell, although he's a club captain for me, I think he makes too many mistakes. I don't think he's unbelievably good. I don't think he's as good as Borchers, or what we had from Borchers. I think he's I don't know, it's hard to say because he's got the experience. He is, you could say, a leader, a team player. But I personally would rather have, someone like Valeri as captain. But anyway, that's a whole nother video. But Ridgewell, I think in that game, the last game, him and Miller just had a bit of a nightmare partnership at left back and left centre back. The first goal, I think it was Miller got beaten to the ball, and then Ridgewell dived in and they scored from that. And the second goal, was Ridgewell and Miller didn't get tight enough to the ball. I think Ridgewell gave him too much time and space to turn and take the shot, and then Miller didn't go and close the ball. So I just think that Ridgewell for me is on his kind of last legs in terms of, personally for me, of how many mistakes he's going to make in a game. When he was injured, we were pretty strong at the back. You know, we had that run of good form and we didn't have him in defence. He was injured, and I don't see why. I mean, the reason why he comes back is he's got the experience and he is the captain. It's hard to put into words my opinions on him. I know a lot of Timbers fans kind of feel the same, but then again, he's our most experienced defender. But then at left back, I've gone for Vitas, and I believe he's fully fit now. He did come on in the San Jose game, but yeah. Vitas's quality compared to Miller is not athletic enough for the left back position. Centre back, he's not too bad. He makes some pretty good and pretty smart defensive plays. But yeah, Vitas is a quality left back that I really enjoy watching. With the way he gets forward and can contribute with goals as well. I think he's one of the fans' favourite. So that is the defence that I've gone for. So the two central defensive midfielders I've gone for are the standard Chara and Guzman. Not a lot more needs to be said there. The three attackers behind Matux up top is Nagbe, Valeri and Blanco. Now obviously with Adi out, I haven't put him up top, otherwise he would be there. I've gone for Matux over Ebobisse and Nagbe over Espria. I think, again, not a lot really has to be said about this attacking lineup. Maybe Barmby could find a place in there somewhere, but I think he's better as a super sub. I tweeted about it quite a while back, how I want to see Barmby given more time on the pitch. He's not given enough time at the minute. He comes on the 85th minute, and as a player myself, that's really tough to get into the game environment and up to 110 miles per hour. You know, as soon as you just come on, it's very difficult to do. It's very difficult to get psychologically clicked into the game and physically. So I think that he needs to get more time to come on. Whoever he comes on for, maybe Nagbe, Blanco, or even give him the CDM role. I can see him playing there. He's a feisty player. He's got technical ability. He can pass the ball pretty well. So why not stick him in CDM? I don't know, it's very interesting to see how Club Porter plays with him. I just personally think that he should be given more time on the pitch. Matux, he's been doing well recently. The San Jose game was a bit of a blip in his recent performances, but before that he had been holding the ball up well, been linking players in well. It's difficult for the other players, having played with Addy for most of the season, kind of changed their game for Matux. I think he's inconsistently good. Sometimes he makes very good runs into the attacking third, sometimes he's too static and he's not up with the play and he's not over on the right side of the play or something like that. So I think there's parts of his game that needs to be improved, specifically his composure as well. But yeah, he's done very well since coming in for the injured Addy. But also I'd like to see Ebobisse come on for him. And Ebobisse give him some more time, because he is a talent, and he's a talent that we need to give time to express and to grow as a player and to hopefully get more goals. But yeah, that's the team that I've gone for. So lastly, before I wrap the video up, I'm going to give you my score prediction. I am personally going to go with a 3-1 win for the Timbers. I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I think it will be difficult, and DC, you know, they do pose their threats. They're going to have a team that are going to be well organised. They're going to be a team that has a lot of players that have got a lot to prove going into next season, you know. They're going to know that the board are looking, the manager's watching on, who are we going to keep next year, whose contract runs out. So they're going to be players that are going to give 110%, but I just can't see them doing us at home, especially with a Providence Park advantage. I can just see us only winning this game. And, you know, them barely scoring that many goals per game and away from home, I think they may clinch one goal. I was on the verge of only giving them, you know, of not even giving them a goal and us winning 2-3-0. But I decided to go for 3-1, and I think that's how it's going to end. I really need to keep a tally of the games on that I predicted and see if I actually have got any right. I think I've got one right this season so far, which isn't too awful. But yeah, that's my score prediction, and that's the DC United match preview. I should also touch upon something that you guys probably know about, but the Portland Thorns, the women's team of the Portland Timbers, are playing in the national final of their league on this Saturday in Orlando. The National Women's Soccer League, they're competing for the final to win it for the second time. Can they bring it back to Rose City? Fingers crossed for the girls. I hope they can, and if you're doing nothing Saturday, be sure to support them. You know, any association with the Portland Timbers, let's get behind them and let's support them. I know the support for them, the Rose City Riveteers, have been fantastic this year. I've seen the highlights of their games. They've got a very strong team, some fantastic players. So yeah, good luck on the girls. I hope they can win Saturday and bring back what could possibly be the first of 2 championships won by Portland sides. But that is going to be the end of the video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Again, apologies for the lack of uploads recently. I'm not too sure when this is going to be uploaded because I filmed it at, well, it's 5 p.m. now, or it's Friday. I may upload it on the Saturday if I can't get it all edited tonight, because trust me, it does take 2-3 hours to edit, then an hour to render and upload. So it's very difficult to find time to do this when you've got to try to fit it around a job as well. So apologies for all of that. You know, excuses on my behalf, so apologies. I'm also trying to get a better setup, as I mentioned earlier. But yeah, thank you for the continued support. It's been amazing on Twitter, on, you know, in the comments, subscribers on YouTube, all the likes, everything like that. It's fantastic, it means a lot, and it's why I'm determined to make more videos. Also, I'm thinking about doing more FIFA content as the Timbers season comes to an end. Hopefully not too soon. We make the playoffs, and you know, who knows how far we can go. But in the off season, I think I'm going to do a Portland Timbers career mode or something like that, but something more to do with FIFA, so I can keep the content flowing throughout the winter months when it's in the off season. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, do leave a like. Let me know in the comments below your score predictions and what you thought of the team I named, and anything about the game coming up this Sunday, or your thoughts on the US national team crashing out the World Cup, anything like that. And be sure to subscribe for more Timbers weekly content. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Come on, Timbers!